Just having a good marketing system whilst providing a poor quality service is like putting water into a bucket with a hole in the bottom. Good marketing can't save a bad business. Okay, so this is the video accompaniment of the blog post called Running an Estate Agent is a Zero-Sum Game. So in this article, we're going to talk about why an estate agency is very different to other forms of business in that there isn't really enough to go around. You hear this a lot in other areas, and you probably hear your competitors saying it as well. Things like, oh, there's enough business to go around, it's all fair, it's all okay. The truth of the matter is that it isn't. It doesn't work like that whatsoever. When you look at an estate agency in a local area, there's only a certain number of properties that are going to go on the market within a certain time frame. So you and your competitors are going to be after that property to put it on the market. That's obvious, right? But the question then becomes, how do we be the person who gets that estate agent, who's the first estate agent that you come to talk to and then want to do business with? So if you've been reading some of my other stuff before, you'll see that I often talk about how important it is to know your conversion rate. You need to know how many valuations you're getting in and how many of those valuations are you turning into instructions, into listings, and then you're bringing them to market, because that then gets you some revenue. Because then you can work out the value of that to your business. Now, that isn't actually the single most important number to look at. It's actually more important to look at how many you're losing to competitors. How many valuations are you doing? They don't go with you, and so instead they go to a competitor. That has a double-edged effect in that you're losing revenue in your business, but your competitor is then directly gaining as a result of that. You are not eating, and they instead are stealing your food. That is the gist of what is happening. It's also very easy to think that the estate agency world is in a good place right now. If you just look at the social media profiles of a lot of directors who openly talk about different things that are happening in the property world, it really sounds like everything's going well. And that's because people don't really talk about what isn't going well, and it's a confirmation bias because the ones who are failing are keeping quiet. When you look at stats from different financial firms, you can see that the financial insolvency rate among estate agents is astronomically high. Even amongst the big players, there's a really high number of estate agents who are going to be going out of business sometime soon, just because they aren't making any profit. They can't justify the fees that they're trying to charge. They're being undercut. Market conditions aren't looking good. And because they lack the ability to innovate and change what they're doing, they are being killed. So even though it's a jungle, even though it is a matter of what you eat, you kill, and if you aren't killing and eating, then someone else is getting that food instead, when you look at the other competitors inside your jungle, you'll see that a lot of them are sick and dying. And pretty harsh to say, it's probably a good thing. At the end of the day, this market is only really there to look after the customer, right? If it's not looking after the customer, who cares? I really couldn't care about, who's trying to make a profit, X, Y, and Z, and all the rest of it. The really important thing with any business is that it's doing good for its customers. For the people who are paying it, they're getting more value than they're receiving, and they're happy to do business with it. If that isn't happening, then they shouldn't be in business. If there are estate agencies who are giving poor quality of service and they're just charging way too much in terms of fees, and they find it really hard to get anyone to sell properties with them, then good riddance. I say it's a good thing that they're going to die. That is probably a bit controversial to say, but it's true. There should only really be a place for those who provide, one, good quality service, and two, make it really easy for them to get found. No one else deserves to be there. If you're providing a good quality service, you can probably survive on word of mouth alone. You'll get away with it. But if you're really trying to grow to a certain level and you really want to be in charge of how far your business grows, having a strong marketing system is then the second most important thing. It doesn't necessarily mean that there is a race to the bottom in this world. It doesn't have to be a race to the bottom. You see so many estate agents nowadays who are charging under 1% for commission, and I just instinctively don't trust them. It just shows that you don't believe in the quality of the service you provide. Sorry. If you're having to charge that little, it really means that you don't see your own value of what you do. And you're not providing good customer service. And really, there is always going to be a certain chunk of the market that are happy to pay a premium price in order to receive a premium service. People like having peace of mind so much. Having that kind of emotional driver behind any transaction is just so key in a lot of different businesses. And you can make so much more profit as well if you're acting in this way. So you don't need to compete with Purplebricks and Yopa and whoever comes next and really works out how to get that model correct in terms of price. Really what you need to be doing is providing great service, and the way to do that is to really give value to the customer. Be able to sell the house for a better price than they can themselves. If you've read my free guide, then you've seen me talk about this before. So even though the primary focus of any business really should be to look after its customers first and foremost, The second purpose is to provide a profit for its shareholders. Now, if you own an estate agency, that second role then becomes really important. It's about making you money so that you can achieve whatever goals you're looking to get to. So once we have that high quality service and we're providing people with what they need, which again is already quite a big thing to do in the world of estate agency, it's probably the second least trusted profession next to politicians. But if you can provide a good service, you immediately stick out. The second thing to then do is to show the right people that you can provide such a service. You need to be marketing to just those people. If you try and do a blast marketing method, you're going to essentially burn through so much money, and there's just no need nowadays. There are so many companies who are able to get in front of the right target audience really easily that there's no excuse anymore. It's 2019. You've got to be able to get in front of the target customer who's either A, searching for you, or B, looks like your existing customers. There's just so much cheap data that different companies are selling that you can use to then get your advertising in front of people who should be seeing it. They're thinking of selling a home, they're looking to rent out their property, and they need an estate agent who can provide a good quality service. I'd even go as far as saying, if you know you have a good service, you have a moral obligation to be getting in front of those kinds of people. And especially if you want to be making money, which I'm assuming is why you got into business in the first place. If your business is bad, then having Facebook ads, having SEO, or any of these other different things, they probably won't work as well as they could do. And you end up just hemorrhaging money that could be better spent elsewhere if your service isn't already good. So the number one thing is to make sure the quality of service that you're providing to the market is good. Second comes the marketing. And that's still very important because it's going to drive customers to you and it's going to drive more revenue generating activity. But until you get to a point where you know deep down that what you do is good for the customer and not just good for your own back pocket, I suggest staying off of it. Don't bother trying to go into these different worlds until you have your service dialed in. Just having a good marketing system whilst providing a poor quality service is like putting water into a bucket with a hole in the bottom. Good marketing can't save a bad business. It's also really important to note that the next step really is to have a process to be able to consistently turn those people who come in and find you into customers in a way that isn't very salesy. At least that's the way I like to do it. I'd much prefer to have a system that is going to take someone from, oh, I'm interested in talking to you, yet to, okay, all right, I want to sell my house with you, in such a manner that just feels natural. And the easiest way to do that is to show value at every step. From the second you come into their house to do a valuation, as long as you're friendly, you're showing how good you are, and you're showing you're competent, it really should be a no-brainer from there for them to come and go with your estate agency. Assuming they're the right type of customer, as long as they're not a price buyer. If they're a price buyer, hey, they're probably going to go to Purplebricks anyway. That's okay, let them go. For the ones who are, caring about quality customer service, they can come to you. The ones who want a really good experience and they want to know and have the peace of mind that they're going to have a competent estate agent who really knows what they're doing, allow those ones to come to you, and your life will probably be happier for it as well. But relying on one source of leads for your marketing, that's a fool's game. What happens if that source dries up? What then? What happens to your revenue, your team, your income, the goals you're trying to achieve at that point? What happens when the word of mouth just fluctuates up and down? You don't really have a business at that point. You just have a job that's reliant on other people gossiping. It's really useful. It's a great thing to have, word of mouth, but if it dies out, you'll go the way of the other dinosaurs who are about to go out of business in a couple of months to years. So here's really where the zero-sum aspect of estate agency really comes into play. Because you can gain the ability to outcompete whoever in the next wave of online estate agency is, as long as you have the ability to do digital marketing correctly. Because if they are trying to undercut you in terms of fee, you'll always be able to buy a customer at a higher rate than they can. So when earlier we talked about how important it is to convert the valuations that would otherwise go to competitors, this really shows why Google search engine optimization is so key to any good digital marketing strategy. The reason being is the valuations that you generated from it, they're going to be finding other people too. How easy is it in a Google search to back out of one result and go down to the next one? At that point, they're just searching for an estate agent. If they search for area estate agent on Google, which there's probably between hundreds and thousands of people in your area searching, you can use a tool called Keywords Everywhere to go and check that number exactly precisely every month. You're going to get to a point then when the valuations that you generate from it are going to be more valuable to your business than if you did it from any other form of marketing. Let's say you did a leaflet drop and that generated some valuations. Those valuations just won't be as valuable as valuations generated from someone who've already shown that they have intent to sell their house. And of course they have intent because they rang you. You didn't get in contact with them and ask them and cold call them or do any of this stuff. You just put yourself in a position where you were one of the people that they came to when they were looking to sell a house. So that is something that is really relatively easy to do, because a lot of estate agents don't understand it. You'll be so surprised to see how many people I speak to who think SEO is a scam because they had some other agency sell it to them before and they didn't really get the results that they were supposed to get, and so now they've been burnt and they try and play it safe. They sit there and like, oh, I don't want anyone to take my money again. Hey, it happens. If people are like that, then there's more room for you, really. If other people were getting emotional about these kind of services, thinking that they don't work, whilst other agencies just are getting results, and it's been proven that this can work because people have recorded the leads that they're getting in to show that they've come from these places, then at that point, if you want to outcompete, it becomes easier because other people have mental baggage on top of it. So again, even though it's a zero-sum game, even though it is a law of the jungle kind of market, other competitors also have different mental baggage that you can probably move past, as long as you can take the right steps to outrank them on places like Google, where lots of your ideal customers are going to be congregating because they're searching for you there. So one other option as well is to get in front of people when they are just mindlessly browsing on their phone through Facebook, Instagram, something like that. To interrupt their newsfeed and jump in front of them and to try and show them something that that agitates them into getting in contact with you. That can be a perfectly viable way of generating business. Sure, it won't be as valuable in terms of the lead quality as something like SEO, but it works. It gets people in the front door and it gets them to do business with you. Leafleting as well, that also works, but it's not really as cost effective as other forms of marketing. But with Facebook ads, getting in front of people when they're scrolling, I have a course that I have a 7-day free trial for, where I've got results for my own clients using Facebook ads. And to just prove it works, I just have a 7-day trial. You can go in, take all the stuff, and if you don't like it, you just tell me and I don't charge you. Compared to what one valuation is worth to a business, it really just shows you that this kind of stuff can work, and just goes into detail with scripts and different funnels that you can download yourself and just literally copy and paste and use them yourself. To just prove to yourself that this kind of marketing method can work. It can bring people in the front door as long as you do it right. That's really the main problem, is a lack of competence. You see so many people who just can't do this stuff because they don't know how. They haven't been studying properly, they haven't been implementing, and they haven't been learning what works through their own experience. They just try and sell things because they see the money signs flash in their eyes and try and go from there. I mean, as some estate agents do too. I think it's actually a common thing in a lot of different markets. So yeah, if you're thinking of using Facebook ads as a method of generating valuations, check out my free course, What Do You Have to Lose? You can literally just email me at any point and I will not charge you. But really, there are no magic bullets when it comes to marketing for an estate agency. Really, a multifaceted approach where you're generating leads for a whole bunch of different marketing methods is really the key to having a sustainably profitable business that you can sleep easy with, because leads are coming in, your team are doing well, and value is being provided to your local community. What more can you really want than that? Really, what I believe people have to do is have a marketing system that gets you into such a position where you are ranking high on Google. You have retargeting on both Google and Facebook so that different traffic forms are building trust. So if someone comes to the selling side of your site but doesn't get in contact with you by phone number, then you can start advertising them, showing them testimonials, showing them that you are trustworthy, because that is something that's really important for estate agents to generate trust. No one really trusts an estate agent, so build the trust. You can do it in an automated fashion. As long as you have other happy customers before and you can get them to give you a video testimonial and you can show stats that show how good you are as an agency, then you're fine. You can use those and just show it to people for pennies per click on Facebook and Instagram of just video content that shows you're good. So that when those people who were thinking of selling before but aren't ready yet, didn't quite get in contact, who's going to be top of mind? Who else was using such a cheap marketing system to show testimonials only to their target audience? None of your competitors are doing it. So if you want something that, again, sticks you out in front of everyone else, there's an idea. Retarget in front of people and show them cool stuff. Show them things that builds trust with them. If you're not building trust with your audience, then what are you doing? It's so easy to do. It's so cheap to do. You can do it yourself just using this video. What I've said right here will work. Just create testimonials. Get people to say cool stuff. Some of your competitors, they won't even be able to get testimonials because their service isn't good enough. So immediately you've ticked that first box, and then you're ticking the second box about being able to get in front of people. because you're retargeting the site traffic. You're going in front of people who've gone to your site /selling but not got contact. It's such a simple method of getting in front of people. Yeah, if you think that what you've seen here is valuable and you want us to come in and implement this system in your business, feel free to come to estateagent.marketing/apply. Once again, the link is down in the article. Come and take a look at that page, see our testimonials, see some of the graphs of results we've been getting, then fill out a form, and we'll get in contact with you. We can have that conversation in a really low pressure environment. You can just see the value of what we do. You can see that it's going to be valuable to your business. And then if you want to become a client, you can. That's absolutely fair enough. And if you want to take the plan, you want to go off and try and use it yourself, that's absolutely fine too. We're cool with that. So once again, thanks for watching the video, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you very much.